everyone has a voice.
Yeah.
Understand? But money is the volume.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Life Talk. Today we have a special guest by the name of Marshal Chiza. He is an author and by history of Zimbabwe is considered to be one of the youngest publishers in Zimbabwe. His 3 books, one that is called Success in No Time, Poor Billionaire, and Before I Become a Billionaire. And he also heads a charity that is called Poor Billionaire Foundation, not forgetting that he's also the CEO and the co-founder of a publishing company known as the Billionaire Publishers. I was also looking into the history of your company and I've discovered that I think you have published over 109 books, if I'm not mistaken, in the past 3 years.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the show,
exactly.
Marshal.
Thank you so much, Anesu, for having me, and also thank you so much for trusting me with your platform. It's a pleasure and honor also to be in this great platform.
Oh, thank you very much. You have been giving so much of credence to what you've done to the shift in mentality. I also believe that your upbringing was not so much good. And of course, I don't think you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth. How was your mindset or the shift in your mindset able to contribute to the success that you have achieved?
All right. I must say, I should take you back a little bit. Growing up, I grew up in a very poor family. Even the poor would call us poor. The family I grew up in, we used to pay 2 things. And so we used to pay attention and we used to pay a visit. But thank God now I can pay the bills. Now I can pay the bills. I grew up in a very, very poor family. But, you know, sometimes I believe poverty sometimes really pushes you to start wanting to have the good things that you are not having when you're growing up. So that kind of poverty is what pushed me to be the person who I am today. And I'm really thankful of what I went through. And also a lot of people growing up would say, Marshal, you are too young to do it. This is unattainable. I had to prove them wrong. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I think you did, especially when you published your first book. And you were written in the records of Zimbabwe to being the youngest publisher. I think that was so amazing. The youngest author, I think that was so amazing. But how important is the shifting of mentality or mindset in you attaining what you want in life?
All right. It's very important. One thing I can tell you is there's nothing more powerful as a stretched mind. You need to stretch your mind, and how do you stretch your mind? It is through reading books that empower you, books that makes you, because books are the tools that releases the heavens of your mind. So you need to read books. Number 2, you need to have the right individuals whilst you are winning, because they always say that you are the product of the 5 people you hang around with. Hang around the barber shop long enough, you are going to get a haircut. So the people around you are either wasters or investors. They make you or they break you. The third thing, you need to have goals. What goals are you setting? You need to have SMART goals. I think you have had the SMART goals of having specific goals, measurable goals, attainable, realistic, and time bound. Those are what we call SMART goals. So those 3 things, books, individuals, and goals. Check the initials. Books for B, individuals and goals. It makes you big. Books, individuals, and goals. If you want to be big, books, individuals, and goals.
That is a phenomenal acronym. Big. Wow, I never thought of things that way. And I think it's really good to help so many people right now that are listening to this conversation. But what can you say about the journey from the time you said you were able to get yourself out of that environment that was so limiting, the poor background which you were born in? Of course, you had no power to choose what kind of a family you wanted to be born in. But I've got to give it to you. You have done so much big, considering the big one that you were born in. Lifting yourself out of that kind of environment. Can you tell us about the process? Was it always as easy? Because when people see somebody having achieved something, they tend to only see the glamour. But what they forget to see is what happened behind the scenes. Can you just take us behind the scenes of your life?
If it was easy doing it, it's not easy. Overnight success comes after 20 years. You need to work hard for it. And
I like that.
One thing I'd like to tell you, even the viewers who will be watching us, is this. Everyone has a voice.
Yeah.
Understand? But money is the volume. What I'm trying to say is, in as much as you can make whatever you want to make in life, as long
Yeah.
as if you don't have money, you are not audible. People don't hear you. Most of the times you're on mute. That's why you see, even if you are poor, if you don't have money, if you are broke and arrive on funerals, you bring your views, even if those views can help them. People will say you are bringing confusion to the family because you don't have money. So
Yeah.
this journey is not easy if you don't have money. The only time when people listen to you is when you have money. So
Yeah.
I always say, let's make this money. Sometimes in life, Anesu, I always say this: we struggle through a tasteless cup of coffee till the last sip, only to realize that sugar is underneath. That is exactly how life is: sweetened but not stirred well. We are all born rich, but we are yet to discover our riches. But some people die poor before they discover their riches. Why? Because they're not willing to act upon their dreams. So I challenge you to start
Yeah.
working and acting upon your dreams, because when it comes to the life or to your life, you are the boss. You are the CEO of your success, the architect of your own destiny, the creator of your own life. Every day that comes about in your life should either bring you close or away from your dream. It's not easy. Making a business is not easy, but
Yeah.
it's worth trying. Mark Zuckerberg would say the biggest risk is not taking a risk at all.
Wow.
Get the point? Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love the point
Yeah.
that you bring as you explain the point. You say that as long as you do not have money, you tend to be voiceless, even if you have
Yes.
so much wisdom and so many facts, but people just don't take you seriously.
We have a lot of people in this world who are much better writers than the most and the best-selling authors out there, but they don't have
Yeah.
money. So their voice remain silent because as long as if you don't have money, your voice is not heard. My prayer is, Lord, I want to have as much money as possible, so that when I arrive in family meetings, everyone,
Yeah.
even if I arrive late, everyone will apologize to me and say, Marshall, we are very sorry. We came so early at the meeting. That's the man you are talking about.
Yeah. So, what would be your advice? What would be your advice to somebody who is trying to, to have their voice heard? Because you said that rightfully that everybody is born with a voice, but it's a matter of
Yeah.
making your voice heard. What would you
Yeah.
say, or what advice would you give to those people that have a voice, but they
Yeah.
want to be heard? What
Right.
are some of the steps that they can take in attaining the finances or the money that
Yeah.
they would desire to have, and even to making their voice heard and for it to become allowed? What are some of the steps that they can take in the journey?
One thing I can tell you is a journey of 1,000 miles begins with a step. Start working on yourself every single day. Just make sure you're working on yourself. Believe that you are good. Pursue that thing until you start making it. You understand?
Yeah.
And don't expect overnight success. The problem we have right now is you find 22-year-olds who do not work, who are not doing anything in life, telling you that my dream is to have a helicopter or a double story next year. Their
Yeah.
goals are unrealistic. Have realistic goals that are very measurable. You understand?
Yeah.
Yes. Even if it means taking 5 years building that empire, there's no one who's going to come and destroy it, as long as if you are doing it step by step. From foundation, you go to window level. After window level, you go to roof level. Eventually, you'll get there. Just build yourself every single day. As I told you before, that every day that comes about should either bring you close or away from your dream.
But
You get
what
the
would you
point? Yeah.
also say? What would you also say? Because I've also observed that a lot of people are making a lot of movements, but they're
Yeah.
not making any progress. Would you mind just bring clarity to that? The difference between just making a lot of movement and making progress in life.
What causes a lot of people to have a lot of movement is because they are comparing their chapter 1 with someone's chapter 20. They think that they
Ooh,
are so
that was
behind.
deep. Mm,
Yeah.
mm.
They think their life is so behind. If I grew up with you and I start making it, doesn't mean that you're not going to make it. Everyone has a time, everyone has an opportunity time that they make it in life. But the problem is they are comparing it already. They are being pressured by someone. So that is what makes them to look like they are they are making movement, and they are competing with those people. Work on yourself. The biggest competition should be yourself, you versus you. Eventually, you start making that progress. Even if it means the smallest progress, it's better to have at least $10 or $20 a day than making $200. That is not okay. Make clean money. Clean money. Yeah. In as much as we take risks, but make sure you make clean money. If it means $5 a day, you make that $5 until you make 5,000. 5,000 goes to 10,000. 10,000 goes to 20,000. But it starts with the little things. So don't be too rushed and be pressured by your peers, seeing them accomplishing this and that. Your time will come. Eventually, when you start doing that, you start making progress rather than movement.
I think, to be honest, in this generation right now, one of the things that is causing a lot of depression and stress in many young people is because they are comparing, just like you highlighted, they are comparing themselves to other people out there, and because they're constantly being pressured by things that they see on social media. I wish I can have this.
Exactly.
I wish I can have this. And I would just like to divert back to one of the important things that you also said. You said that do not compare your chapter 1 to somebody's chapter 5. I see a lot of that. Somebody compares themselves to somebody who has been in the game for a very long time, and they feel like they're not making any progress. What would be your words to somebody who has that kind of a habit?
Yeah, exactly. My advice to someone who's doing that is, before you know it, you might commit suicide, because there are some people who are not worth comparing yourself with. Run your own race. Do your thing, bit by bit. If someone is wearing different suits and you want to compare, because that person is eating their harvest and you are still eating your seeds. You see, that's the challenge that we have, where people eat their seeds and someone is eating harvest, and you see me driving a new car. You want to go and buy a new car with your seed. Remember, I've been working on myself for the longest time now. You get the point? Yeah. So, sometimes the pressure that we give ourselves is not necessary. Just be yourself. Because before you know it, you want to commit suicide because you haven't reached that level. There are people even honest right now who are in a private competition with you and they're still losing. There are people who compete with you privately without you even knowing, and they lose privately. So that is what's happening right now, and you see some things happening out there, and you think maybe it's demons or whatsoever, but these are the things that are happening out there.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Chiza, for being on our show. What would be your last words to our viewers?
All right. To our viewers right now, I want to say that yesterday is the West paper. Today is a newspaper. Tomorrow is a question paper. So during the process of life, you need to read and write yourself well. Otherwise, your life can be wasted to a tissue paper. We cannot change yesterday, but we can do something today that can drastically change our tomorrow.
Oh,